Okay, so I figured I might as well do some Masters of the Universe Classics reviews. I don't know exactly how fast the Origins figures are going to be hitting the stores. I know that the remaining figures in the first wave have already started to hit some areas of the country, but it seems like where I live, the Atlanta area, is always like the last place to get them. My theory is that when the action figures start to come into this country, what they do is they start on the West Coast and they make their way across the country and up towards New York and then finally down towards me. And that's the way it seems to me. So they might actually hit Florida absolutely last, but I don't know. They could just like bypass, like go down to Florida and up to New York, and then finally meet in the middle at Georgia. But that's how it seems to me a lot of times. It's like the action figures always hit here last. So anyway, since I was getting the Origins figures and pretty excited about them, I started going through my classics again. And of course, I wanted to do comparisons with figures and be like, oh, hey, look, this is how this one is similar and this one is different and that sort of thing. And it made me think about how there are a few classics characters that I hadn't been able to get yet for whatever reason, or hadn't gotten around to getting. And I decided it would probably be a good idea to to get the remaining the remaining classics figures that I needed. And I got Princess ADORA in the mail the other day, which she was a character that for whatever reason I hadn't gotten yet. And she was one of the few remaining that I considered to be like an essential character. Like, I needed to have Princess ADORA. She's too important not to have. And I have She-Ra, but I have Bubble Power She-Ra. I don't have the regular She-Ra. Hang on, I'll go get her. Hang on a second. Yeah, we might as well have all the She-Ras together over here. So yeah. So here's Princess ADORA, which I just got her in the mail the other day, like I said. Here is Bubble Power She-Ra, which is the closest thing that I have to a default She-Ra. And last but not least, I have New Adventure She-Ra, or Galactic Guardian She-Ra, I think they call her. I got this one secondhand, and technically she's not complete, because I think she's supposed to have, I think it's the same belt and laser gun that come with this one. It might be a different one, I don't know. But I didn't really care so much. I got this pretty cheap, it was like $20. So, if she was missing the laser gun, she was missing the laser gun, whatever. It's She-Ra, I'm just going to have her with the sword. I don't really care about her having a laser gun. So, and then Bubble Power She-Ra. I'll probably do reviews of these later on, so I don't know if I'm going to get all into it now, but you can see that, like, she's close enough to a regular She-Ra. You see that, you're going to recognize it's She-Ra, but there's a few things about her that could be better. I'd rather she had, like, silver foil on her crown, headdress, whatever you want to call that, than the pink foil that's on there. I do have one more She-Ra figure. Let's see if I can find her real quick. And that was one that I actually made. She's probably in this bin. Yeah, here we go. So I made this one myself, and this is one that I mostly made from a Battleground Teela figure, and some parts that I got in a swap. You can see there's a Vicor's cape, and this is the toy head that came with the first classic She-Ra. I call this one Savage She-Ra. So this to me though is technically a different character. This is like an an ancient She-Ra that existed in the past. And I'll leave it at that. So anyway, that's like a little overview of the She-Ra figures that I have. Let's go back to ADORA. So ADORA has the Sword of Protection, which is slightly warped. I've tried to straighten it out, but it keeps wanting to curve. I'll probably keep trying to straighten it. And she has a little laser gun. And she has a holster on her hip that holds the laser gun. For whatever reason, the buckle's in the back. I don't know why they chose to put the buckle in the back. Unless she's supposed to reach across to grab the laser gun, in which case it would be pointed this way, but that doesn't really make much sense to me. Usually if you want to cross-draw your gun, you want to have it more towards the front than the side, and even that would put the buckle over at the side, so I don't know why they did it this way. So she just shoots her gun left-handed while she holds her sword right-handed. So, unlike the Prince Adam figure, this one actually does have a little strap on the back so that she can hold the sword, and her sword is accurate to the cartoon series rather than the toy. If you had the original toy, she had a sword that looked absolutely nothing like He-Man's sword. And then on the show, when He-Man first, or Prince Adam first sees the sword, he's like, that sword looks exactly like mine except for the jewel, and like not on the toy it doesn't. I remember when I was a kid, I got rid of the one that came with the toy, and I gave her, like, the blue sword that came with the weapons pack. I think I might have actually had to, like, break her hand, because I think her thumb connected to her fingers. I had to actually, like, break it open so I could get that sword to fit in there. So then she had a sword that looked like He-Man's sword. But, anyway, let's have a look at her. She's a very well sculpted figure. You can see that she has a very pretty face. Looks a lot like how she was drawn in the cartoon. And the hairstyle is definitely based on how it was in the cartoon, where she has those two little curls on the side of her head. I always thought that was cute. So she's got a red vest with kind of these tan sort of patches on the shoulders. It kind of makes me think of like a hunting jacket and how they have like the leather pads on the shoulders so you can put the butt of the rifle against it. She has a kind of off-white shirt with red cuffs. This is one of the things that kind of bugs me about both Masters of the Universe Classics and DC Universe Classics. I guess it's just like a stylistic quirk of the Four Horsemen. But they don't tend to use a lot of true white when they color these figures. So if a character has a white shirt, it usually winds up being like a slightly off-white. Like this is like barely white. This is almost just a really, 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 really light gray. So, and I don't know why they do that. Sometimes people have a tendency to think that white isn't a realistic color. Like people don't wear white clothing. It might be the sort of thing where like it's a stylistic choice and they feel it brings out like more of the detail in the sculpt, which I can understand if it's something like, you're sculpting like a head sculpt of the Joker, and he's got the big grin, like all these, little wrinkles in his face where like, because he's making this evil smile, and you want to be able to see all the creases and crooks and crannies in his face and everything like that, because they put a lot of effort into sculpting it, but, that doesn't really apply to ADORA's shirt here, because you can see, like, on her sleeves and everything, there's not, like, an extraordinary amount of detail. It's not required to have an extraordinary amount of detail. It's just she's wearing kind of a spandex shirt, and, it's, a very nicely sculpted woman's arm, but there's not, like, a lot of detail you need to show off there. It's supple and powerful looking, but and shapely, but not necessarily like the sort of thing where it's like, she's got veins bulging out or something like that where you need to show that off. Likewise, the red is also a darker red than you might think of on the cartoon. And red is another color where people tend to, like, darken it up to make it more realistic. But people wear red in real life, so, whatever. But, it still works. The colors are still really nice. The paint masking on the face on this one is really good. Sometimes you get eyes that look kind of derpy or whatever, but thankfully that's not the case with mine. Which, I got mine secondhand, like I get a lot of my figures, and I don't know if the sword was warped in the packaging or somehow got warped while this person owned it, or, whatever, but I'm going to try to straighten it out. One of the criticisms that I see a lot for this figure is that she's got a skirt, whereas the original figure had shorts, or the original character on the show, I should say. But, at the time when they made this figure, this was, I think, one of the first female figures in this line. I think she was the second one that was sculpted after Teela. Like, they put out ADORA before they even put out She-Ra. And, and obviously characters like Evelyn used the same sculpt as Teela, like the original figure did. And, I don't remember if the Goddess came out before this one or not, but she also used the same sculpt, the whole same sculpt as Teela. And, so this was maybe like the second figure they sculpted. And much like Teela, who traditionally is shown as wearing shorts, they gave her a skirt. And some people have criticized it, saying it looks kind of like a diaper, but I don't really see that because, like I said, it is a skirt. You can see that it hangs down. So, it's kind of vaguely shaped like her shorts, but it's supposed to be a skirt. So, it's flexible enough you can kind of get her into a sitting pose and things like that. So, it doesn't hinder her articulation an inordinate amount. So, but I don't know. I think it looks fine. Maybe if they'd done ADORA like a little later in the line, they could have given her proper shorts, because I know at least some of the male figures had shorts by that point, and probably some of the female figures too. But I'm having a hard time trying to think of one right now. I'm drawing a blank. I don't think any of the ones that I have shorts. I think all the female figures I have skirts. At least up until... No, wait. I take that back. The Filmation versions of Teela both have shorts. Yeah. And, like, technically Mattel didn't make this. It was Super 7, but she definitely has shorts. It was still sculpted by the Four Horsemen, anyway. So yeah, that's my thoughts on ADORA. I think she's a pretty great figure. I'm glad to finally have her in my collection, and my royal family is complete, so I can stand her with King Randor, Queen Marlena, and Prince Adam, and King Randor will be the happiest man on all Eternia, because he's got his daughter back. So, yeah, if you're going to collect Masters of the Universe Classics figures, she's probably one you're going to want to get. Anyway, I'll probably do another one of these later. I don't know when, but I've got a lot of Masters of the Universe Classics figures I could talk about. So, anyway, take care. Bye.